6. Stoic habits that make you instantly attractive. Mindset over looks. Stoic bloom. What if being attractive had nothing to do with how you look and everything to do with how you think? Most people chase outer beauty, but the Stoics knew true allure comes from the way you carry your mind. Imagine walking into a room and instantly drawing people in without saying a word. No designer clothes, no loud presence, just calm confidence and a quiet strength that makes others lean in. In this video, you'll uncover 6 Stoic habits that silently command attention, admiration, and respect. This isn't about impressing others, it's about becoming so grounded they can't look away. Part 1. Master the art of listening. In a world obsessed with being heard, the one who truly listens becomes magnetic. True listening, deep, undivided, non-judgmental, is one of the rarest and most powerful forms of presence. And the Stoics practiced it as an essential virtue. To them, listening wasn't passive. It was a discipline, a form of service, a mark of wisdom. Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." That wasn't a clever saying. It was a philosophy of life. When you listen intently without thinking about what you'll say next, you give others something priceless. Attention without agenda. And that kind of presence, it feels like a breath of fresh air in a noisy, ego-driven world. Let's break it down into practice. Next time you're in a conversation, pause your internal monologue. Don't just wait for your turn to speak. Observe the other person's tone, their emotion, their silences. Let them feel truly seen. This does more than build trust. It creates gravity. People are drawn to those who make them feel valued, and nothing communicates value more deeply than being fully present. In Stoicism, listening isn't about approval. It's about alignment. It's how you harmonize with the world, one person at a time. So if you want to be irresistibly attractive, start here. Don't be the loudest in the room. Be the stillness that absorbs the noise. If you've ever felt like people don't really listen anymore, maybe it's time you become the exception. Share this video with a friend who's always interrupting. They'll get the hint. Subscribe for more Stoic tools for everyday life, and let us know in the comments. What's one thing you've learned from just listening? Stoic bloom. When you truly listen, the world leans in. Part 2. Cultivate inner peace. Attractiveness isn't always about brightness. Sometimes it's about stillness. In a chaotic world where everyone's rushing, shouting, and competing, there's something deeply compelling about someone who remains calm, composed, unshaken. That kind of peace doesn't just soothe others, it pulls them in. The Stoics understood this centuries ago. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nowhere you can go is more peaceful, more free of interruptions than your own soul." Inner peace to the Stoics wasn't a luxury, it was a responsibility. Why? Because peace is power. When you walk into a room carrying calm instead of chaos, people notice. You become the quiet eye in the hurricane, the one others trust, not because you speak loudly, but because your energy says, "Nothing can shake me." So how do you build that kind of peace? Not through denial and not by avoiding problems. You cultivate it through reflection, through morning stillness, through mindful breathing, through journaling your emotional patterns and asking, what can I actually control today? The more you train your mind to stay centered in storms, the more attractive your presence becomes. Why? Because people crave safety, and your calm gives them that. You become the emotional anchor others didn't know they needed, and they gravitate toward it, not because you're trying to impress, but because you radiate stability. So the next time you're surrounded by stress, remember, your peace is your signal. Let it shine quietly. Stoic bloom, calm is magnetic. Stillness is strength. Part 3, speak with purpose. There's something deeply magnetic about someone who doesn't speak often, but when they do, everyone listens. The Stoics believe that words are not decorations, they are tools, sharp, intentional, and meant to build, not to clutter. Seneca once said, "Speech is to be used sparingly and with restraint." Why? Because when every word counts, every word matters. We live in a world overflowing with noise. Social media rants, pointless chatter, constant opinions. In the midst of that, the person who speaks with clarity, calm, and conviction stands out like a lighthouse in the fog. To speak with purpose is not about being dramatic. It's about choosing your words the way a master craftsman chooses his tools, carefully, deliberately, respectfully. Before you say anything, ask yourself, does this add value? Does this clarify? Does this reflect who I truly am? When you pause before speaking, you gain control not only over the conversation, but over your presence. You stop being a reactor and start becoming an influencer, not in the social media sense, but in the real world sense. People start listening, not because you're loud, but because you're precise, and precision is power. So practice saying less, speak only when you've thought twice. Let your words carry weight, not just sound. The fewer the words, the stronger the impact. Just like in Stoicism, where silence itself is a statement. If you're tired of people tuning you out, maybe it's time to shift from talking more to speaking better. Share this video with a friend who could use that reminder. Hit that like button if you're ready to sharpen your speech, and subscribe to Stoic Bloom for weekly tools to master your inner voice. Drop a comment below. What's one sentence that changed your life? Stoic Bloom, speak less, mean more. Let silence echo your strength. Part 4, embrace resilience in adversity. True attractiveness doesn't reveal itself when everything is easy. It shows up, shining, quiet, and undeniable when things fall apart. Adversity is life's way of asking, how strong are you really? And the way you answer that question determines not only your strength, but your appeal. People are not drawn to perfection. They're drawn to poison pressure. The Stoics saw adversity not as punishment, but as opportunity. Epictetus said, difficulties show men what they are. In other words, resistance doesn't block your path, it reveals it. Think about someone who remains graceful during setbacks, who doesn't panic when plans fall through, who doesn't lash out when criticized. That kind of quiet resilience isn't just admirable, it's magnetic. You don't have to fake strength, you practice it. Next time life tests you, pause and observe. Not just what's happening, but how you're responding. Is this a setback or a setup for something greater? Is this the end or a doorway you hadn't noticed? The Stoic doesn't ask for an easy life. He asks for the wisdom to rise within a hard one. This mindset creates a rare kind of beauty, one built not on the absence of scars, but on the grace of how you carry them. When you face adversity with composure, others don't just respect you, they trust you. Because if you can stay grounded when things get ugly, then maybe, just maybe, you can hold space for their chaos too. Stoic Bloom, let hardship sculpt you. Resilience is the shape of quiet power. Part 5, prioritize integrity over approval. What if I told you that the most attractive thing about a person isn't charm or wit, but unshakable integrity? In a world where people bend, twist, and shrink themselves to be liked, the one who stands firm becomes unforgettable. And the Stoics knew this well. Seneca wrote, "A man's worth is no greater than the worth of his ambitions." When your ambition is to stay true, regardless of the audience, you radiate something incredibly rare: authenticity. Integrity doesn't mean perfection. It means consistency. It means acting according to your values, even when no one is watching, even when it costs you attention, even when it earns you criticism. Because approval fades. But self-respect, that lasts. When you prioritize what's right over what's popular, you become centered. And there's something magnetic about a person who cannot be bought, flattered, or pressured into being someone else. Imagine you're in a room full of people who are trying to impress each other, laughing at things they don't find funny, agreeing with opinions they don't believe, all for validation. Then someone walks in who speaks calmly, acts deliberately, and doesn't care if they blend in. That person steals the room. Why try? Because integrity commands attention in a way performance never can. The Stoics didn't chase applause. They chased alignment. When your thoughts, words, and actions are in harmony, you glow. Quietly, powerfully. If you've ever chosen truth over approval, even when it cost you, drop a comment below. Share this with someone who needs a reminder that being real is rarer and more powerful than being liked. Subscribe to Stoic Bloom for more timeless mind tools like this one, and give this video a like if integrity is something you're building day by day. Stoic Bloom. Approval fades, integrity attracts, choose what lasts. Part 6, focus on growth, not perfection. Perfection is an illusion. Growth is a direction, and when you choose growth over perfection, you become not only more human, but far more attractive. The Stoics never aimed to be flawless. They aimed to be better than yesterday. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself." Not because he believed in self-punishment, but because he knew. Real power is in self-progress, not self-perfection. We've all been there, afraid to try because we might fail, afraid to speak because we might be wrong, afraid to show vulnerability because it might not look polished. But here's the truth. Trying to appear perfect makes you forgettable. Growing openly, consistently, and humbly, that's magnetic. People don't connect with your flawless mask. They connect with your real journey. So what does growth look like, Stoic style? It looks like reflecting each evening on what you did well and where you drifted. It looks like asking, what lesson did I miss today? It looks like choosing responsibility over excuses, even if no one is watching. More importantly, it looks like dropping the act. The Stoic doesn't pretend to have it all together. He just works. Quietly, daily, deliberately. And when you live like that, you inspire others not with your image, but with your example. You show people that they don't have to be perfect to be powerful. They just have to keep it going. Stoic Bloom. Perfection impresses. Growth inspires. Choose the path that leads forward. True attractiveness begins where ego ends and discipline begins. Throughout this journey, we've uncovered 6 timeless habits, each one drawn from the deep well of Stoic wisdom. These habits don't change your face, your fashion, or your follower count. They change your presence. And presence, when built on calmness, clarity, and character, speaks louder than appearances ever could. The Stoics didn't seek attention. They earned it, not through noise, but through alignment. They mastered the self, and by doing so, naturally drew others into their orbit. And now it's your turn. If this video resonated with you, I invite you to walk deeper into this practice with us. Subscribe to Stoic Bloom, not for passive inspiration, but for active transformation. Share this video with a friend, a brother, a partner, someone who's ready to evolve from validation seeking to value living. Like this video if even one sentence made you reflect. Leave a comment below. Which Stoic habit will you begin today? Because this isn't just a video, this is a quiet revolution, a return to what truly matters. And if you stay, you'll find that week by week, word by word, you'll begin to embody something rare, an attractiveness that doesn't fade because it comes from the inside out. Stoic Bloom. Attract without effort, grow without noise. Subscribe to Stoic Bloom.